what a horror and what a terror. But it would seem that once you get the moment in life, it can disappear when you're on your own, just like that. So I don't know if any of that recorded. I don't think it did. But this is the pathetic sense of it. That the only way I can get into one of these is not having one isn't the answer. Not being able to use one isn't the answer. This is the drug of choice. Is the only thing I can say. It's the transport of the drug of choice. So if a doctor wants to use it, he uses it as a tool, and it's in his system. And if a manufacturer of drugs or someone who puts them together wants to do the same thing, this is how they do. It's a little dealer, which is a terrible thing, really. But the only consequence is I put on the Mental Health Act without one of these, and the witchy hand or the witchy finger seems to have been pointing at me with the wrong information, and me, because I wasn't privy to this gadget, which I can't show you how I hold it up. I wasn't allowed to have it. I wasn't really allowed to have it, and the information that was on it that had come in through one of these things, up the bum, I suppose, up this way. And I was getting drugs coming out down through this way from the government, down through my head. There, it just proves that I'm not trying to do anything malicious. Now the problem I've got is I've got the information coming now, and it should be coming, which will denote and will prove that the paperwork in which I was treated to the tone of over £100,000. I haven't worked it out yet. But they kept me in a private enterprise on a community treatment order. I didn't ask to go on it, and no one asked how to get me off it once they got me on it. That's disgusting. It all seems to have resolved at a responsible clinician's household, and he got it off another one. One of them was both of them were foreign subjects to being born. They weren't born in this wealth and in this country. They weren't born to a wealth in this country. I say. So the difficulty is I'm still waiting to this to unravel. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to win. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to win, and I'm going to put things like this up on the internet. And I'm going to print my copies of the paperwork and put them up on the internet as well, so they can be seen, so that my dispute is indisputable, and it will shame the people who ride around in these bloody vehicles. On these extra vehicles are trying to rule people's lives, that actually they'll have to go back to their tea break and their boss and throw their bags down and have a big argument, because some of the products that people are getting on aren't winnable causes. They're not winnable causes. So all they're doing is patching things and making them go further. But until they go back to the root and they decide to change people's losses by giving them healthier things, then no one's. It's just an excuse, and it's just a patch or a time thing. But it comes down to the heads that like to sit in nice clothes, like to be appreciated and like people to worship them, but exclude themselves from all other daily practices, and don't really know where their information comes from. So that's what I'd like to get over in this message, and I'm going to keep on the 5 names at the moment, and I hope that'll get a bit longer. But from what I've gone through and what I've put up with, it's pathetic to think that there's anything natural about this country that isn't being looked at. I can't get an MP on my side, on my cause, because actually I don't live anywhere. But there's my bed, and that's costing I think £800 a night. Now, I know it for sure. I do know it for a good reason, that people aren't happy I'm in somewhere that I haven't got to pay for, that seems pretty sound and so that I'm out of the way and out of sight and out of mind. Because actually, I can't get an MP unless I live somewhere, but the government's paying me £800 to live somewhere. It doesn't actually make any sense. There's no complaints about it. There's no complaints. Well, I ought to tell you, you ought to know some of the things. The MP is the one that is the structure to complain about the manner that you've been put in these places and the reason that you aren't living anywhere. And it means our streets aren't democratic is actually a funny answer. It means that, hey, look, a mile wide. It means our streets aren't democratic. Well, that doesn't come up as being sensible at all. If you're homeless, because actually the structure of homelessness means you've got to belong somewhere, then some people are doing the wrong thing by putting so much emphasis on that phrase or that noun, and or everyone's agreeing we can't get away from it. Well, that does seem like a community hub, or that does seem like this sort of a place where everything comes in. And but children aren't impregnated in hospitals. You know, I don't know if that's what I'm getting at is that everybody's got a they govern our lives, or our lives are ruined by healthcare, or health, or these things. Maybe those nouns should change as well. Maybe we should change those nouns. The ones that can't be moved, that won't be moved, can't be moved, because we get confused. It's numbers now. We're looking at numbers to draw attention. You might not know it, but you haven't got a community hospital. You might not know it, but you haven't got a community healthcare thing. You phone up a number to find out another number, and then you drive there, or you find that person is miles away and just drives as well. It doesn't matter if they're in your community or they're just around the corner. So basically, I've been hurt very very severely by a community treatment thing, which didn't know where I was, who I was, or where I belonged. But it was the only thing that talked about community in the whole area, because of the many fractions, and they go right through all people. There's no I'm not pointing my finger at any other than the one that gave me this witchy finger. So that's interesting if you don't mind what the reasoning, and if you don't mind the control, and if you don't mind the harshness, and you don't mind the paganism, the total pagan, or the anger of it and the upset. That's smothered. That's smothered. So there we are. I'll keep this put up, and I'm going to put this up on my website. Stuart Mills, 55, born in bed.